I'm on the outskirts of ordinary, someone in search of a story. It took a whole lot of hallelujahs to finally lose my grip on glory. Why words, of all things? Did you choose to tell me how you feel? Maybe all that heaven wants is for me to just shut up and kneel. When we finally peel back pleasure, rapture will be as raw as we planned. As long as the sea keeps stretching forever, I'll never stop building on sand. My name's Steve Skafte, and I'm a writer and a photographer, and I explore abandoned buildings and old roads and other things I find in nature. I would call myself an explorer more than anything else. I'm looking for things that I can discover. Well, growing up with my mother's pictures was a big part of it. We were never really aware that much of her taking the pictures. Seeing like the photos that she took of things that happened right before I was born and when I was too young to remember, that it was like I could constantly reintroduce myself to those memories.
I see, sort of a bit of myself in him, like the pictures he sees, I've seen, and my eye catches the same kind of thing, so. He was a very quiet child, almost invisible. He was the youngest of 4 children, so he was basically in the shadow of all his older siblings.
In the fall of '92, I would have been 5. Just my mother and I went to Ontario on this trip. When I came home from the trip, I sort of realized that there was this difference between how her and I saw the world and how a lot of other people in the family did. So I think, if anything, it made me a little bit more isolated rather than more social. There was a guy named Anthony Robichaud, tattoo artist. This was December of '07. He said, why don't I take you to this place that I know of in the woods? And he said it was built by some hippies in the '70s. This was the only thing that was here when I first came here. And it says, we came up from Mexico in 1974 and was effed up on acid and coke. It opened up this whole kind of imaginary yet real life world for me to explore really close to home. I could go to some places in the moonlight or starlight, summer, fall, winter. There could be fog, it could be raining, it could be deep snow. There's so many different personalities that a place can have. They have the personality of the people that built them. It's like houses are people too. I was really shy growing up, and I didn't feel like I had much to say. I hated having my picture taken. I avoided anything that pointed attention at me. and tried to be invisible. I decided that I was going to try to get across what was in my head, because I always felt like I'd had this whole life in my head that was kind of secret to everybody else. I started sharing everything online right away because that was just my way of talking to people. It would serve as a new language. I think that one of the best things about photography is that you can take any number of approaches to it. Most people, they're entirely focused on the subject matter that they're photographing, whereas I'm hoping to show the feeling of how it was to be there and the emotion that I felt from it. Abandoned Nova Scotia I think it's basically just designed to be a place where people can share pictures of crumbling homes and derelict buildings and leftover history. I make sure I take at least one picture that I'm in every day, and I just passed 4,500 days, so there's at least that many. The internet is, it's a savior of everything that's made me. I would still be completely isolated, I think, without it. Some people are cynical about it, but it's hard for me to be cynical when I wouldn't know that my wife existed. I was posting videos of my poems on YouTube, and she saw one of them. She sent me a message New Year's Day of '09, just over 11 years ago, just to say how much it had meant to her. I never met somebody that was that interested in getting to know me and about my work and had that much personality to offer. She was the first person that made me feel like there isn't this impossible gulf between me and the rest of the human race. I'm looking for somebody to notice me and to pay attention to me, but for something really significant. The beauty of an abandoned building is like the beauty of a human being. I don't care if people think I look good, I just care if they think I'm worth experiencing.
You have this joke about the dead artist making all the money, on his photography or his paintings or whatever. I see Stephen has such a burning desire for this, and I'm really happy to see the recognition he's getting now. So it's great.
I'm the lonest of wolves.